mysterious symptoms attacking both her body and her voice. What was happening to your voice when you were trying to sing?
It's like somebody's strangling you. It's like somebody's pushing your pharynx this way. Recently, have been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome.
When it comes to artists who have touched the world with their voice, Celine Dion stands out as one of the most unforgettable. The iconic star dominated global music charts for decades with her performances. However, her journey hasn't been without pain. From personal struggles in her marriage to devastating health battles, Celine has faced more than her share of heartbreak.
I'll walk. If I can't walk, I'll crawl. But I won't stop.
Now, at almost 60, how she lives is simply sad. But how does she live now, and why is it making headlines? Join us as we uncover the reality of Celine Dion's life at almost 60.
I have to trust myself. I have to trust my team. I have to trust my voice. I have lived tough things, but we all do.
How Celine Dion lives at almost 60. Just a few years ago, Celine Dion was still gracing massive stages with the same voice that once shook the walls of arenas around the world. But recently, everything began to change when Celine made a shocking announcement. In a video posted to her social media accounts, she revealed that she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare and incurable neurological disorder. Celine Dion's health struggles with stiff person syndrome shocked her fans. The disease causes severe muscle stiffness and spasms. Due to her condition, she had to cancel shows and step back from the public eye. Seeing her emotional about it made it even more heartbreaking for her fans, but something had happened even before the announcement. Stay tuned to find out. Not long before that announcement, fans had already begun noticing something was off. Between 2021 and 2024, Celine postponed and then officially cancelled multiple concert dates.
Celine Dion canceled all of her concerts for the next 11 months as she continues treatment for a rare neurological disorder,
including a long-anticipated Las Vegas residency and the European leg of her Courage World Tour. Each time, she mentioned muscle spasms as the reason. But the cancellations kept piling up, and fans who had held onto tickets for years were left heartbroken. Her management initially gave little clarity, only noting that her condition made it impossible to perform. It wasn't until the SPS diagnosis became public that what she was going through was truly understood. Then things got even more serious when reports surfaced about the kind of medications Celine was using just to manage the symptoms. She was prescribed high doses of Valium to calm the uncontrollable spasms in her muscles. At one point, she was reportedly taking up to 90 milligrams per day, an amount far higher than typical prescriptions. Medical professionals and addiction experts started raising concerns about dependency. Eventually, Celine herself admitted the dosage was dangerous and said she was working with her doctors to safely taper off. It was a painful but necessary step, as she realized that continuing on that path could do more harm than good. But the deeper tragedy is that the illness has continued to rob her of the very abilities that made her a star. As time passed, her condition worsened, and reports from close family members, especially her sister Claudette, painted a bleak picture. Claudette revealed that Celine no longer had full control of her muscles, something disastrous for a singer who relies on precise movements to perform. She couldn't perform, and even basic movement has become difficult. For someone like Celine, who lived her life on stage, it meant her entire identity was slipping away. However, there is another, even more shocking revelation that has recently come to light. Reports have it that Celine had already been dealing with physical challenges years before stiff person syndrome came into the picture. In 2018, she was diagnosed with patulous Eustachian tube, a condition that affects the ear and disrupts hearing. It caused her to hear her own voice too loudly and distorted the sounds around her, an absolute nightmare for a singer. She tried multiple treatments, but none worked. Finally, she underwent a surgical procedure to fix the issue. The health scare revealed that she had been struggling to maintain her singing voice for a long time, even hiding severe pain from her fans. And tragically, none of these medical struggles compare to the emotional one she suffered back in 2016, when her husband and longtime manager, René Angelil, passed away from throat cancer. His death marked a huge turning point in her life. She now had to balance her career, motherhood, and health without the support of the man who had always been there for her. Even during the best moments of her success, Celine faced constant judgment and speculation. For years, there were rumors about her weight, with some people speculating that she had an eating disorder due to her thin appearance. But Celine always denied those rumors. She explained that she was simply naturally thin and that her body had always been that way. Still, the gossip refused to die down, and with her recent health issues leading to noticeable physical changes, the rumors only reignited. Critics online and in tabloids ignored the context of her illness and clung to old narratives, adding another layer of public pressure during a time when she was already struggling privately. Even as a young girl, Celine didn't have it easy. She was born into a large and financially struggling family in Charlemagne, Quebec. From a young age, she was teased for her looks, especially her teeth and her thinness. Kids at school made cruel comments, and those early experiences planted seeds of self-doubt that she carried into her career. Even after she became famous, that early bullying affected how she saw herself. She has spoken candidly about how difficult it was to walk into a room full of industry executives and feel like she didn't belong, despite her talent. That childhood insecurity lingered beneath the surface, even as the world celebrated her voice. Still, what fans may not know is that in recent years, behind the scenes, Celine has been involved in a legal dispute regarding the management of her business affairs. After René's death, control over her financial and artistic management shifted. A hidden power struggle began among the people close to her, including old friends and new members of her health team. According to court filings made in Canada and the US, there were disagreements over who had authority to make decisions on her behalf while she was undergoing treatment.
I want that motion.
Okay.
There you go. Better. Good.
Better or good?
It's better.
No.
And in one particularly bitter legal twist, it was reported that Dion had initiated internal investigations into missing funds and alleged financial mismanagement tied to former team members. Though she kept most of it out of the public eye, court documents later showed that Dion had quietly replaced multiple advisors and initiated contract terminations that suggested she was taking back control over her empire. The situation was complicated, made worse by her declining health, which some argued affected her ability to oversee business matters clearly. Despite that, Dion fought back. She continued to appear in closed meetings via video call, and in one notable case, gave a sworn deposition through her legal counsel to retain ownership rights over parts of her brand. In mid-2023, her lawyers tried to stop the release of unauthorized content that used her image, saying some people were trying to make money off her vulnerable state. Her team blocked at least 2 unauthorized documentaries and a cancelled biopic that were made without her permission. Though the cases were settled quietly, it showed how some people tried to exploit her during her illness, seeing her name as a way to make money. She was fighting not just her disease, but also those who wanted to profit from her situation. But despite it all, Celine has shown signs that she still wants to return to what she loves. In a few rare interviews and statements in late 2024 and early 2025, she mentioned Her ongoing therapy, her vocal training, and her physical rehabilitation. Her children, especially her eldest son, René Charles, have become her strongest support system. She said they help keep her grounded and give her a reason to keep pushing through the pain. She hasn't ruled out performing again someday, though she acknowledges it may not be in the same way she once did. What matters to her now is recovery, not for the stage, but for her life. The current situation is sad. The once lively and energetic performer now lives a quiet and protected life, far from the spotlight that once defined her. Beyond her health challenges, Celine Dion has also faced marital challenges. Keep watching for more details. Celine Dion's marital challenges. When Celine Dion was just 12 years old, she met René Angelil, then a 38-year-old music manager who took an immediate interest in her vocal talent. While their professional relationship blossomed, the personal one that followed raised eyebrows, especially when Celine, at 19, began dating him. Her mother, Thérèse Dion, reportedly objected at first, worried that her daughter was too young to enter a relationship with a man so much older and more experienced. The tension in the family continued for years, even after they got married. The age difference affected how the public saw them and the balance of power in their relationship. As her manager, René, being much older and already established, made key decisions about her career and image. Young and new to the industry, Celine often relied on him and didn't question his decisions. Some insiders said she had little say in her career, especially when she first became famous. Then again, their decision to hide their romance from the public didn't make things any easier. For nearly 5 years, Celine and René kept their relationship secret. They thought keeping their relationship secret would protect her career, but hiding their love was hard on Celine. She later said it was painful to pretend she wasn't in love, especially while working with the man she loved. Hiding her feelings took a toll on her, as love is supposed to be something joyful, not secretive. Moreover, as their relationship grew more serious and they married, new challenges emerged. One of the most personal was their struggle with fertility. Celine desperately wanted to have children, and after several unsuccessful attempts to conceive naturally, she began in vitro fertilization. The process was tough, with many rounds of treatment and emotional ups and downs. She had to do procedures while also performing in hard shows, balancing her dream of having a family with her demanding career. The stress was quiet but ongoing. But that was not all. What many didn't know at the time was that Celine also suffered miscarriages during this long journey. In later interviews, she confirmed at least one miscarriage, though it's likely there were more. These losses were private heartbreaks that happened while the world cheered her on for being a powerful performer. Her public image was strong, but privately, she was grieving. Each loss hurt her more, causing silent stress on her marriage. René tried to support her, but the pain of their losses stayed with them. Their lives were constantly under scrutiny from the press. Tabloids spread rumors about breakups, affairs, and financial issues. Some falsely claimed Celine stayed in the marriage out of loyalty or that René controlled her. These rumors made it hard for them to trust others and sometimes each other. Defending their marriage publicly added to their emotional exhaustion and created more tension. Likewise, their non-stop work schedule contributed heavily to the strain. Celine's career skyrocketed, thanks in large part to René management. But the cost of success was distance. Celine toured extensively, performed in Las Vegas, and recorded constantly. While René was often by her side as a manager, the lines between work and personal life became so blurred that they had little chance to simply be a couple. Even at home, business meetings continued, rehearsals ran long, and planning never stopped. The imbalance meant that their marriage functioned more like a professional partnership than a romantic union for long stretches. They faced a big financial crisis. In 1988, Renee went bankrupt after some bad investments. This happened just as Celine's career was starting to succeed. The stress affected their finances and their reputation in the industry. Young Celine had to support both of them financially. This crisis made her career the only thing keeping them afloat, giving her more power in their relationship. And even before his final illness, Renee battled significant health issues that transformed their marital roles. In 1991, he suffered a heart attack, and later, in 1998, he was diagnosed with throat cancer. These health scares didn't just affect his body, they changed the rhythm of their lives. Celine had to adjust her touring schedule, delay projects, and emotionally prepare for the worst. To the public, Celine seemed like a supportive wife, but in reality, she was taking care of Renee like a nurse, protecting him like a guardian, and providing emotional strength. After Renee's cancer diagnosis, their roles began to reverse in subtle but significant ways. Celine, once the performer relying on Renee's expertise, now became the one steering the ship. As Renee's health declined, Celine took over managing his work, making decisions, and keeping things running smoothly. This change was tough because Renee's identity was tied to guiding her career, and Celine wasn't used to being in charge. This shift caused friction between them, even if it wasn't visible to the public. Yet through it all, Celine maintained a carefully crafted public image. For years, she insisted that everything was fine, that they were stronger than ever, even while carrying the weight of caregiving, motherhood, and fame. She admitted in interviews that she often had to act stronger than she felt, not just for the cameras, but for Renee and their children. The performance extended beyond the stage. It seeped into her personal life, where every show of vulnerability was carefully managed or hidden altogether. At the same time, while Renee was still alive, Celine effectively became a solo parent. She had to raise their 3 sons, Renee Charles, and twins Eddie and Nelson, largely on her own. With Renee frequently too ill to participate in daily routines, she handled school, meals, discipline, and emotional support by herself. And because she was still performing, she had to juggle this with a full-time career. It wasn't just parenting. She had to balance an entire household emotionally and logistically, with almost no assistance from her partner. It didn't end there. Caring for Renee took a toll on their marriage. Celine found it hard to see the person she loved decline while trying to stay strong. Their relationship changed from equal partners to one where Renee relied on her for almost everything. And even as Renee tried to maintain authority in her career, Celine began to assert more independence. Some reports from their Las Vegas team noted that Celine started making creative decisions without consulting him, selecting songs, costumes, and show elements on her own. This autonomy didn't come from rebellion. It came from necessity, but it also signaled the final stage of their evolving relationship, one where Celine was no longer the protégé, but the protector, the decision-maker, the head of the family. So, while the public saw them as a perfect love story, their reality was more complicated. They faced challenges like age differences, power changes, health issues, and financial struggles. Celine stayed with Renee because of love, duty, and loyalty. But staying came with a cost that she mostly kept to herself, carrying it through her performances and quiet moments. What do you think about the way Celine Dion is living in her 60s? Do you believe she has made a lasting impact on people's lives? Share your opinions with us in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, click the following video on your screen, and you will enjoy it.